I forget, and we are ready to go. So thank you so much for being on tonight on this Tuesday night. It's crazy to think that we're over now halfway through the month of April. It feels like March just ended, and we're short a day in April. And so we have really 2 weeks to finish this month strong and do some amazing, amazing things to close out this month. And I know so many of you, you're on the verge of promotions. We had a record number of promotions in March. I'm expecting huge promotions as we close out April. And so tonight's really going to help each and every one of you. And so Estee Cookie, welcome to Tips from the Top tonight. And we're so excited for you to share. And I really just want you to introduce yourself, share your story, how you got into this business, maybe a little bit of, what it was like before it works, what it's like now, and we'll go from there, and I'll shoot you some questions as we go through the night. So you are ready to roll.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
All good.
Okay, awesome. So I have been with It Works. I joined back in 2015. I was 6 months pregnant with my third baby, Titus. Sherry had been doing this already for a year before I joined in. I have been friends with Sherry Lynn going on, is it 12 or 13 years, around there. When we first got married, they were one of the very first couples that we met when I moved to Midland. I'm from San Diego. And so John and Sherry became our instant friends when we moved to Midland. And then they moved away from us to Dallas, and we were living in Midland, and I was trying to get out of there and come to Dallas for a lot of years. And in the midst of all of that, we remained really close, although we were apart from each other, and we visited Dallas all the time and did a lot of fun weekends. But Sherry had joined this thing, and I had watched her doing it, and of course she asked me more than once, probably every single time she saw me, she asked me to join her and do this. And I didn't really know much about network marketing. It was something very new, but I obviously knew that, it was working for her. I saw these different promotions happening, and one of the jokes that we would always say is I would tell her, like, Sherry, you could sell trash off the street. I would always joke around and just tell her that, because I just thought, this is just something that comes so natural to you, and it's so easy for you to do. I don't think that that's something that I could do. There's no way I could do something like this and be successful at it. And of course she said, no, I definitely think that you could do this. And during that time, my husband, who was in the oil field, he had an oil field job. He made, great money. But of course there's always never enough, right? There's always bills and just the extras that you want. And of course my spending didn't help at the same time either. And so we knew that maybe it's something that I could give it a shot. We had kind of dabbled in another little network marketing before, and it was something that I couldn't really do myself. And with his schedule, he couldn't do that thing and his full-time job. And so this was something that I knew that I could do because it was affordable. The products were, they just sold themselves. And so I was like, maybe I could just dabble in this and take off, and my little goal, and here's the thing, guys, my goal was literally to make an extra $500 a month, so that I wouldn't have my weekly chats with my husband about my target spending and all of that, and I thought if I could just bring in this extra money, I won't be getting in trouble every time we sit down and go over finances. And that was like literally my goal in the beginning, just to make that extra money. And then it just kind of took off from there. And I think that obviously that was my plan, but that was not the Lord's plan. He knew that there was something much greater that we needed, not just financially, but, also for our marriage and just spiritually. Like this journey in the last 4 years, more than anything, more than financially, I have grown so much. And it has just been life-changing. So I said yes to Sherry Lynn. I think it was a BOGO deal. 6 months pregnant, I was like thinking, my first post, I have this giant belly and I'm going to be trying to sell wraps. This is going to be very fun. So the great thing is I had my before and after pictures before I got the belly. So I knew that it worked and I was able to post those. But I just kind of took off. I think I went Ruby that second month. And then 7 months later, I was Diamond. And then a month later after that, I went double. And then a year after that, I went triple diamond. And then here I am, presidential diamond. And from triple to presidential, it was a journey because I felt like the other ones went a lot faster. So if some of you are here and you're like having a slow start, maybe you'll have a fast start later on. I had like a faster start and then kind of stopped. And in the midst of it, sometimes you don't know why it kind of stopped. And the Lord just obviously had great things in hand and in mind, and the timing of everything. And along that time, I couldn't think of a better time for me to go presidential than now. He felt that this is the time that I was ready. And so that's been my journey so far in just the last 4 years. It'll be 4 years at the end of May. So coming up next month.
No, that's awesome. And, I think, before we continue, from just all of us, I mean, congratulations last month, Presidential Diamond, Cookie, what did he go, double diamond? I mean, so what's that? If my math is right, $40,000 in bonuses on top, and that's icing on the cake of your commission. I mean, congratulations. I mean, we always say that diamond, I mean, it's the percentage that go diamond it's low, but the percentage that go beyond double, triple, presidential, I mean, you're in the upper echelon of the top of the company on your way to ambassador. I mean, it's just so amazing to see what can be done in such a short amount of time. And, what I think I admire so much about you, Estee, and you, Cookie, is that you did it in the midst of life. And I think a lot of times, people look at people who have, gone presidential, they've gone to ambassador, and, it's easy to look at other people and say, oh, it was easy for them, or it was, it looks easy. But the crazy thing is it's the same for each and every one of us. We all start at the exact same spot. We all start with one person, ourselves. And then what we do over the next year, 2, 3, 4 years, and the way that you guys have, I mean, you've gone through, your dad's health, you've gone through a family move, you've gone through, homeschooling in Midland, and now adjusting to a move here in Dallas, all that in the midst of a business that continued to grow during that time. Yes, there was ups. Yes, there were downs. So, obviously me and Sherry, but our entire team, just congratulations, because we know what it takes to get there. And you did it in the midst of transition. You did it in the midst of life. You did it in the midst of battles. And it's absolutely amazing that you accomplished all this in this season and this time. And so it's just so awesome to see. Cookie, I want to go to you real quick. I just want to ask you, fortunately we get to talk all the time now that you live closer to us, but, a lot of these people, they've never met you. They've only seen this version physically of Cookie. Francisco, we call him Cookie. You should call him Cookie too. But, they don't really know, yes, this business. And I want you to touch on both of it. What has it done for you physically? And then what has it done for you and your family, and you as the husband and the spouse, both physically and financially?
Right. So I think you hit it right on the head. To this business, it's a double-edged sword. So you have a health side, and I like to call it the wealth side, and I really believe to be successful and to have a life worth living, you have to have both, and neither one is more important than the other, but they go hand in hand. And for some of y'all who don't know my story, health-wise, we'll hit on that one first. I used to be a pretty good-sized old boy. I think when I first realized I was out of control, and I was just unhealthy. I was miserable. I was drinking a lot. I was working a lot. I was way overstressed, way overworked. I think I came in at about 252. That was my highest. And man, it's hard to even say that. But from a health perspective, I got on keto. John, It Works products. John walked me through a bunch of macros and really kind of taught me what the keto lifestyle is. And, having the It Works products there hand in hand to support you. I think within a year, I was down to 178 pounds. I lost over 60 pounds. And, praise God for that. And I'm about 185, 190 right now. So I've been able to keep 50 plus off, a lot stronger. sleep a lot better. I'm a lot better mood. I'm not as grumpy and not as crazy, mood swings. And, I gave up a lot of things too. It really taught me to discipline. I gave up drinking. I gave up a lot of those things that were just bad for my life: food, soda, sugar. And, it's funny when I applied that discipline to my life, what happened. And, that speaks to both sides, the wealth side too. This business has been such a freedom for my wife and I, for Estee and me and our kids and our family. Man, it's let us save. It's let us move. It's let us go on vacations. It's let me live my dreams. It's let me live my dreams of businesses and things that I want to do on the side outside of it works and outside of my full-time job. It's really given me the freedom, and it's given me the ability, it's given our family ability to build wealth and have a little bit of cushion. And, for those of you that are on here right now, I would definitely encourage you and challenge you. You're here for a reason. You're on this, you're on this Zoom right now because you're hungry, because you need something more, whether that's health or that's financially something else. That freedom is here. And we're normal people. There's nothing special about us other than that we went out there, we helped this opportunity, we planted the seed, and we ran with it. And you all have the exact same opportunity there in front of you, with this business and the products that it offers. So, on both of those things, John, it's life changing. It's hard for me to even put in words, what it's done for my health and what it's done for my family financially. It's been a game changer, and it's really just changed the way we live, the way we give, the way we spend time. I mean, time is just, it's been a lot more valuable with it, so.
No, I mean, it's so awesome. And, I think, I guess we can get candid here for a while, like, given that we've been friends for so long, and, you look at, Sherry Lynn's success and Estee's success. And I love that you said we're just normal people, because I think a lot of people on this Zoom, it's like, oh, you have to be this mold to be successful, or you have to be that mold to be successful, or, you have to have cute kids to be successful, or you have to have, you can come up with all these different excuses. But, I think y'all won't mind me saying this, but, Cookie, Estee, me and Sherry, if y'all would have known where we started, there was a day where it was actually Cookie that brought me and Sherry a window unit to put in our master bedroom, because we were waiting like 2 weeks for an air compressor to come and fit. We were talking about this the other night, waiting for an air compressor for 2 weeks to come and just fix our air conditioner, our first home, because we couldn't just fix it. We had to go through a warranty. And I remember when Cookie and Estee moved to Midland, and they had their apartment and they had their couch. And, really what it comes down to is, what life do you want? And what is the price that you're willing to pay? And I think that that's what you'll find consistent through anyone and everyone in this business. And when I say price, I don't mean like some massive, just brutal torture sacrifice. I mean, the word Cookie said, discipline. Will you do something every day to grow your business? Will you do something every day to support your team? Will you do something every day to plant seeds for a future harvest? I think it's so important to understand that really this business comes down to one person. It's you and what you do on a daily basis. So I love so many things about what you said. And so let's talk about that, Estee. Let's talk about the consistency. Let's talk about the discipline. What are your non-negotiables when it comes to how you work your business each and every day? Like, what are the things you do that you would tell someone who maybe is going for Ruby, going for Emerald, or this close to Diamond? Maybe they've been stagnant for a while. What do you do every day? Obviously, you're doing something right to go to Presidential. What are those things?
So one thing that I tell my team probably every day is posting. Posting's not going to get that person to just sign up and come knock at your door and say, I'm going to be on your team, but it definitely is your open sign to your business. And I don't think that there's been a day since I started this 4 years ago, and if there has, it's maybe been one, that I don't post. I post about my business every day, whether it's the products or a business opportunity. I'm definitely posting, and a lot of times, you get, your distributors, or you get people that are like, I don't know why I'm not signing anybody, and I don't understand. I talked to a few people, and the first thing I usually do as a leader is I go check out their Facebook or their Instagram, and I'm like, well, friend, I can tell you that you haven't posted in 4 days. And if they're not posting, it's almost like they're probably not messaging and asking. And so those are like huge non-negotiables for me. I'm very consistent when it comes to that. I think 4 years in, I get people that come to, I just spoke with a girl today. She could even be possibly on this Zoom. I don't know if she could put in the chat if she is, but I spoke with a girl on the phone who's been following me for 2 years. And finally, I messaged her again last night when I went on my messaging rampage, and she messaged me, or she messaged back today, call me. And so I called her, and she literally was like, I just told my husband, I think I need something like this. And I shared your story with him, and I, told him who you were. And she actually started following Sherry Lynn also because she got her off of my page, and so she's like, obviously she sees and has been watching us for 2 years and sees that this is real. And so now she's signing up tonight and to be on my team. And I go back and I have that conversation with her. It's like, if I would have stopped posting, or if I would have stopped messaging this girl who kept telling me she wasn't ready, she would not join my team. And that's happened so many times. It's happened with one of my girls, Lizzie's on my team, that I think I asked her like 12 times, and she just would view the message and just ignore it. And she just went diamond last month and going double this month, the same way that Sherry asked me for an entire year and kept asking me. And then I finally joined, and now I'm a presidential on her team. And so you have to always ask, and you have to always post. Those are like huge for me. I think out of anything, those are the non-negotiables, is just making sure that you're doing those things, because people are watching, whether they're liking your posts, whether they're interacting, whether they're messaging back, whether they're even voting on your poll. They're watching you like forever. Like, as long as you add them, they're going to continue to just creepily watch you behind the scenes, but you have to make sure that you're consistent with what you're doing. And so I feel like that's been huge for me in my business.
No, I love that. I think that, so many times we try to complicate what we do on a daily basis. And, I think a lot of times we look at what's working for other people, but what we have to understand is that you draw the type of people that you are. Like, you are attractive to a certain type of audience for good reason. I kind of think of it just in general terms, like, the Lord puts us on this earth, and that, Cookie and Estee, you're called to reach people that would never even talk to me and Sherry, and me and Sherry are called to reach people that would probably never talk to you. And, I think that it's a bigger picture than, just, messaging and posting. It's that, what are you putting out there each and every day? That's who you're going to bring in. And I think that I see you doing that really well, Estee, is that if you look at Estee's Facebook, you look at her stories or Instagram, you can very, very clearly see what it's about. You can see that it's about family. You can see that it's about a business that's changing her family. You can see that it's positive. And so, really look, what are you posting? What are you putting out there? Because I think it's very important to understand that, what you put out there is what you're going to get back with your team, with positivity, with negativity. And, speaking, let's talk about leadership just for a little while, Estee. Like, what are some of the things that, you make sure, for your team, that you're constantly, how are you constantly pouring into them and keeping them, positive and going towards the next goal? Like, some people are on here, they're rubies, and they're like, well, I don't have a big team, but you do have a team. We were all Ruby at one time too. What are you doing for your team to just keep them involved, keep them motivated, as they go for their next promotion or their next goal?
I really, really, and I feel like, in the 4 years, y'all, like, I'm not the same leader I was 4 years ago. Like, that's the amazing thing about this business, is along the way, I have learned what doesn't work, and I've learned what does work. And I have learned what, some might work for some leaders, might not work for other leaders. And, sometimes you have to go through those growing pains of like learning those things. But with it, I have just really noticed the difference in just connecting with my team in a relational way, whether it's just not like they're a person on my team, but they're a relationship that I am building. And I really just try my best to like hear their heart and their story and who they are and connect with them in that way. So whether they're local or not local, I mean, majority of my team are not local. I have a very small handful of people that are local here. We just moved here back in July, so I have a couple girls that are here in Dallas, but other than that, everybody is away. So a lot of my conversations with my team is over the phone, and I do talk to them a lot on the phone. They probably see my phone call a lot during the week. I'm doing voice memo with them, and I do videos, I go live. One of the things that I will say that I make it a point to do is, I don't think that there's a Zoom that goes by or when I go live on my team page that I don't give them some type of nugget, some type of scripture, some type of encouraging word. I'm very, very bold about my faith. I'm very, very bold about this is the only reason why I'm here today as a presidential diamond is because the good Lord decided to allow that to happen. And other than that, I wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be sitting here. And 100%, I always give God the glory. I try my best to just use that as a platform and to show that, you know, whether it's my Facebook or my Instagram. If anybody were to look on there, they would see like that I am very bold and I just talk about it. So whether I have girls on my team that, you know, don't have a relationship with the Lord, or they come in, they know that that is something huge for me. Whether I pray with them, whether I give a scripture, or I say an encouraging message, or what God's doing in my life, that's super evident. And it's something that I feel is really big. And I feel like sometimes the girls might sign up because they're looking for an opportunity to make some money, but it's become so much more than that. And they decide to stick around because there's something that they're feeling on your team that they need, and they didn't know that they needed it. Right? And so I feel like if I can at least grab them because maybe they're having a difficult time in their marriage and God has chosen to put me in that place to be their friend and to pour into them during that time, then that's so be it. That's my time to do that for that season. Or if it's just to give them a friendship, maybe they're looking for friendship. Sometimes we think that they're signing up for one thing and it happens to be something else. I know that that's what happened to me in the 4 years. Like I signed up to make that extra couple hundred, and then God just radically changed me, like totally. Like as a leader, as a mom, as a wife, he just came in and said like, oh, you thought you were signing up for that extra Target spending, but you know, I'm going to make you become a great leader. I'm going to show you a good hustle and a work ethic that you never had before. I'm going to show you what it is to save. I'm going to show you what it is to work hard for something. And all of those things I didn't plan or know I was getting into when I signed up for this. And that's just something that happened along the way. So.
No, that's awesome. I love that. Cook, I want to go to you real quick because you're like me, you work full-time job, you know, and so from the spouse's perspective, you know, we work, you travel quite a bit. You have to go back out to West Texas. But man, when you're here, you live it up with your family and it's so awesome to see. But the reality is because we have full-time jobs, it's hard to help our spouse, quote unquote, work a business because we have, you know, work that we're doing on this side. And so, you know, I just want you to share because, you know, I know that mainly, you know, the distributors that are on and a lot of the spouse are probably like with the kids or like, you know, keeping them quiet or whatever they're doing right now. But, you know, the replay will come up and, you know, everyone on the Zoom can say, hey, can you just listen to this 3 to 5 minute spiel about this spouse that's helping his spouse, you know, work the business, given that you work a full-time job, because I guarantee you most spouses that are, you know, on this Zoom, they work a full-time job too. Like, what do you do that, you know, directly or indirectly helps Estee with the business? Because once you reach triple pres ambassador, you are no longer an hourly employee. You are a CEO of a company, like really when you think about it. But how do you as a spouse, given that I know that you have about as much time as I do, how do you help Estee work the business either directly or indirectly?
Well, man, I really have to say, you know, Estee started it off, you know, for a couple $100, but, you know, we've been friends with y'all a long time, bro. You know, we wouldn't be here without you. But I just think, you know, and on all our texts, we always say bacon maker, you know, that the girls are bacon makers, you know, bringing home the bacon. but it's so true because it's morphed into so much more. And I think indirectly, man, just to see what it's done for Estee on a personal level, as far as developing her skills, her business skills, her leadership skills. She's always had a love for women. And this is just, and I think Sherry has too, you know, and ministry wise, you know, I think we have that tie. But it's just been an awesome platform to boost that up. And, you know, I try to help with the business as much as I can, which is not very much. This is the brains and all the brawn behind everything. But I really try to be intentional when I'm home with the kids, try to be intentional with Estee. I think I'm really trying to break a mold, I think, and even me too. Man, I wash dishes, bro. I do laundry. You know, this girl's up working till 2 a.m. while I'm sitting there snoring next door. You know, so if I can take the kids somewhere, if I can do something extra, you know, for if their spouse is on here listening, indirectly and directly, I mean, if you can message and you can help, and I definitely need to be more of that. But you got to be everything that you got to be. That's what this business takes. That's what success takes. That's what health, that's what building any type of business takes. You know, you have to be everything that is demanded of you. And sometimes it's not fun, man. And sometimes you're going to fight. Sometimes you're going to have your battles. But you got to be whatever your wife needs you to be. And let me tell you something, guys, if you're listening, you have to ask. We're not mind readers. What I think is what needs to be done isn't always what it needs to be done. Go to your wife, grab a pen and a paper, because it might be 10 or 15 things, but write them down and be intentional with it and try to be there for them as much as possible. And look, man, I'm not perfect. I'm probably, Estee can tell you, I'm one of the hardest people to deal with. I'm stubborn, hard-headed. I don't listen to anybody. But I'll tell you this, I feel the difference in our relationship and our businesses when I can humble myself and I can help. And that goes both ways for the wife and the husband and the wife. And I think your family, your business, and your relationships in life and in business go a lot better. You know, it's just be there for what your team needs and what your wife needs. And I think it just kind of falls down the line. So.
And ladies, it does get a little bit easier when you have the comma on your paycheck. So
oh, yeah.
Those of you that are newbies that are like, oh, my husband, I couldn't get him to do half this stuff. I didn't either. So this started happening after I brought on Double Diamond. No, I mean, he's always been 100% supportive of me doing this.
Yeah, sure.
From the very beginning, he's always been one of my biggest cheerleaders. Even when I felt that I didn't think I could do something or that I wasn't going to be good, he's always like, oh my goodness, yes you can. I can see you doing this. And he's always been that. But like he said, he was just the support behind it, and I did all the things. And for those of you that may not know me before this, John, sure you know, like I just like was Estee the housekeeper. Like I literally, like my whole way of defining myself was defined by me, his wife, and the mother of his kids. And I used to cook some really amazing meals. And when I say I used to, I really used to. So I mean, I used to cook, I did the cleaning, and I was raised that way, you know. And I think we're both Hispanics. We know that background is like, that's your job, woman, right? So that was just something though that I love to do to make him happy. It was something for our marriage. I knew. So like when I started like getting really busy in the business, and then to say I do homeschool my kids still, you know, at the same time. So I was trying to juggle all those things in the business. It would get really stressful and hard because I was trying to do it all. But I really just know that I just trusted God, and I knew that I was going to get to a point where I'd be able to hire in, right? I was going to get to a point, and that's what I was working towards, to be able to get that extra help that I needed. And so to those of you that, you know, are Ruby and Emerald, and you're like, I'm working so hard, but I don't have all of the help, you'll get there. Just be patient and know. And like, honestly, guys, like, if I didn't have God to like vent to and ask for guidance, and when I was having breakdowns in my bathroom because I didn't think I could finish their homeschool and all the piles of laundry, and it was all my job, right, as a stay-at-home mom, like I literally would just ask God to give me what I needed to sustain me and give me what I needed to push through this. And that's the amazing thing about the God we serve, is that we don't have to explain ourselves to him. We don't have to say, but God, I'm doing all these things, but I'm trying to be a good wife, but I'm trying to do the mom thing, but I'm trying to do the laundry. Like, we don't have to explain any of those things. Like, he's got us. Like, he knows our heart. He knows what we're going for, what we're striving for. Like, there's nothing selfish that I'm doing in this business. There's nothing selfish that I'm doing. I'm doing this for my husband. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for our future. And so God knows those things, and God wants to give you the desires of your heart. He doesn't want to withhold those things from you. And so he wants to give them to you. So if you just open up and you're like, God, how am I going to get through this next week? How am I going to get through this next situation? Like, he's got you covered. And I will share my next story whenever you ask me about this last month going presidential with all of that and my dad and everything. But that has a huge part in just coming to a place where there's no way you can do it on your own.
I think that's so good. And, you know, I just want to say this, that maybe you have a spouse that's just not supportive, you know, like maybe like they're like your biggest enemy when it comes to this business. Like, let's be blunt. Like, honestly, probably 8 out of 10 husbands are like the biggest hindrance to what could possibly be the biggest blessing. I'm glad I was one of the 2 and not one of the 8, but the reality is most of the 8. You say, well, John, what do I do if my husband is that? What I would tell you is keep doing what you're doing. They will see bigger when you see bigger. They will see bigger when amazing things happen. And I never discouraged Sherry, but I said, I'm never wearing a network shirt. And she hit diamond, and I was like, yeah, maybe you should buy me a couple shirts. So like that happens, and, but I don't want you don't let your spouse's lack of vision, cause you to be blind. Like, allow this opportunity to be the thing that changes your family's life. And I guarantee you it can definitely happen. And so I do want to move on to kind of like maybe this last piece, and then we'll just close with something really awesome. But last month, Estee, biggest month in your 4 years in this business for you and Cookie, financially, promotions. And, all the promotions are just so important. I mean, every one of them, like I'll never forget, just going diamond, going double, going triple. And it's just like, it's like your adrenaline's pumping and like you can't sleep anymore. Like, you're like so pumped. The clock strikes midnight. It's coded, it's done and dusted. And it's just an amazing, amazing feeling. And you got to experience that last month. But yes, you had a lot of life that's not just happened, like not that just happened last month, like you're still in it this month. And, what I really want to hear from you is, let's talk business, but then let's talk kind of like emotional and psychologically. One, business-wise, what did you do to promote from triple to presidential? What were you doing in that month? How were you approaching that month? How did you coach your team that month? But then, after you answer that, I want you to go to kind of like the mental and the emotional and psychological part of, in the midst of the business and, kind of the bolts and screws that hold everything together, how did you overcome the life that you can, we're both talking about in order to make this promotion still happen this month? So it's kind of a broad question, but what did you do business-wise? And then what did you do mentally and emotionally and all those things during the midst of life?
So I went triple, I think it was 2 years ago. It's been 2 years. So I went triple 2 years, and then I just automatically thought I was hitting all of these other promotions so quickly, I'm bound to just go presidential. It's just going to happen, right? And so when it didn't, I was very frustrated with myself. Didn't understand. I had 2 double diamonds quit on one of my legs and just completely stop. And then I had a couple other, lower ones just kind of all over quit. And I just didn't understand like why and how. And it was very discouraging. So those of you who have had people quit on you, which has probably been a lot of you that have been in here for a while, it's frustrating and we don't understand it, but it happens. And so I think from there, I just trying to start picking myself back up and building, but there was a lot of times that I felt like the enemy would try to tell me that, I probably wasn't going to be able to do it, that was like my shining moment for just a little while and I'm done. All of those different thoughts would keep going through my head. And And then I remember like we had moved from Midland to Dallas, and that was a God thing. We had been wanting to move to Dallas for a long time. It was on our dream board, my kids' dream board and everything, for us to move to Dallas. And it was just like God opened a lot of doors and closed a lot of doors in Midland for us. Situations with family and with jobs. And this business was a huge part of why we were able to move here, financially. And so we came and we moved like last summer. And it was kind of like during the time that I had like those double diamonds kind of like quit. And so I was trying to like, okay, I need to like get new momentum, get some new people on my team. And so it's my leg started falling. I had lost rank. Then I started rebuilding back up. And I think my momentum started kind of growing towards, it was kind of a random time. I think it was like October, November. There started being some excitement like at the end of, in those months. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I remember talking to John about it. We were all doing something. And I remember saying like, it's weird. Like this is like momentum coming in, but I was really excited. Well, that's kind of like the first, I think it was around November, December, the end of November, Thanksgiving is when we first found out that my dad had cancer. And it was during that time, right when I felt like my business was kind of starting to pick back up again, that I had gotten that first, okay, your dad has cancer. And that just devastated me to all ends because none of us saw it coming at all. My dad is very healthy. He's still young. I mean, we just didn't see it coming. And so it really blindsided me. And I think I allowed it to in the way that it did because I was already not in the strongest point in my business, if that makes sense. I was already kind of discouraged about the girls who had quit on my team. And yes, I was slowly rebuilding, but I felt like I still had a ways to go, if that made sense. And so when that happened, I got the news, it just crushed me. And I just kind of felt like I lost all momentum. And yes, I was still posting, I was still doing the things, but my heart was kind of missing out of it, So come, December, Christmas, we had to go to California. We got there for like 3 weeks, and everything. My dad had a huge surgery, came out of it. They were able to remove all the cancer from him. It was like all in one ulcer. They were able to surgically operate and remove out of him. And so it was such a blessing and such an answered prayer. We were so excited. And then conference was like right around the corner. And literally we walked into conference and I felt, and I'm just being very honest with you guys, I felt like I didn't deserve to be down there on the floor. That's how I felt. I was a triple diamond, but I had lost rank. I had lost team members. The conference before, I think we went to conference with like, I don't remember, not that numbers matters, but it was like over 25, 30 girls maybe. And then this last time it was like 4 that went with me to conference. And I just felt like very like discouraged, I'm human. I mean, I'm discouraged, my team was rocking out. I had some amazing players. I had some great girls, and I was just in a place where I felt very discouraged. I remember walking in a conference, not even looking forward to the announcement of the bonuses. That's how I felt. Because I thought they're going to announce these bonuses and I'm going to feel even worse because I'm so far away. I'm so far away from maintaining the rank that I lost, but at the same time, I feel like I don't even have those team players right now, right? This is all what I'm saying, and I'm just completely being vulnerable and telling you how it is. And I literally remember telling my husband that literally, babe, it's going to take a miracle. It's going to be a miracle for me to go presidential. And literally, they announced the 3 legs and what you needed and all of that. And I was like, is this really happening right now? Because I had that one leg, boom, gone, so it was like literally so emotional because I felt in that moment, like, if this isn't from God, I don't know who it is, because I literally walked in there with no hope for myself. Like literally felt like everyone else is going to be excited and so close. And here I am, not even close. But, I'm going to still try to be excited for my team and for everything. And I was far away. I mean, I came in and I literally like left with a boldness. And I remember having several conversations with, it's always great to have those sideline sisters. I remember having a couple of conversations with my girl, Kelly Brown, my sis, and, just in a spiritual level, I think I needed that boost of like, no, you're not going to do this on your own. You're just not. Like, I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I needed God. And I knew that I needed a different mindset, and I needed to be able to be encouraged in that way to tell myself, Estee, you can do this, but not just you can do this. We are going to do this. Me and God, we're going to do this. He knows the desires of my heart. He knows how hard I have worked up until this point. He knows what I've put into this business. You know, God never brings you that far to only get you that far, right? And so I had just prayed over and over, God, bring me a new team. Just bring me the women, these ladies that need to be on my team, that are supposed to be on my team. I know that you have them out there ready for me. I know they're ready, and I'm ready too. And so, bam, like, I don't remember if it was the $20 moment. I just was like signing, like it was probably the most I've ever signed, because I'm not a mass enroller by any means at all. I probably have seen my name on the top enroller list like twice. You know, it's always, you know, Tracy and all the same ones. And I give them all the credit, because I'm not a mass enroller by any means. But those months I was like racking them in. It was like the best I had ever done. And spiritually, like, I just felt like I was just trying to get myself in gear. I was just like, what do I need to do, God? Like, I'll do whatever it takes, but I'm willing to put in whatever work, and I'm willing to do it. And he just started bringing these girls to my team. Some, you know, Catherine, I have her on here. She just came from Midland, and she had been following me. And, you know, she just was like, I'll do whatever I need to do. I'm ready to go. She went Ruby her first month, Emerald last month, going Diamond this month, like literally bam, bam, bam in a row. I had Lizzie, who, you know, had stopped because of different family and situations and just different personal reasons. And I stayed committed and friends with her, even though she decided to stop working the business. She literally decided to call me like the month before I was going to go presidential and say, I'm back in. Like, and I was like, what? Like, I wasn't even banking or counting on her coming back. So these are all God moves, like huge God moves. Like, so many different girls. I started getting team here in Dallas. You know, I just was like adding, and I felt such a movement coming, and I just was running. And I remember telling Sherry, like, I don't even know like what to do right now. Like, I have girls excited and all this momentum, and like, I knew it was the Lord, because it was not just me. I had prayed for this. And so this was all like right after conference. You know, I knew what I needed. And so I just went for it. After there, I left feeling encouraged. I said, I can do this. I got the 3 legs. Like, I'm ready to run with it. And I just started working towards that. So February, I was literally ready to go. I think we ended the month in February. It was like a little over 3,000, close to 4,000 from hitting Prez. And we made the decision together, like, let's just wait till next month. Like, why buy? Why do any of that? We're going to roll into it next month. Like, there's no reason. Like, let's just do it. So we did. We waited, and we're just like, it's because volume was just coming in. I had everything set up, ready to go. I was very confident in it. And then March came, and, you know, my team was all going for promotions. Super excited. I think it was like the second week in March. We had already decided, like, we're doing this, we're going Prez, you know, we're like, this is what we've been waiting for. Worked really hard. It was like, I still couldn't believe that I was even where I was at, you know, coming from January. It's like literally a miracle. But we knew what we needed. I remember telling Cookie, I was like, this month is going to be crazy, because I'm very big on, you know, how the enemy works. I know that he's tried to destroy us time and time again. When I was Ruby, like, or going into Ruby, like, we had a hard time in our marriage when we first came into this business. Like, I mean, all odds were against us even making it through. Like, literally, we're sitting here married today because of God's grace and his faithfulness for us. And because this business is a huge part of that. But, I mean, we have felt the enemy attack us a lot. And I knew, I felt it in my spirit that it was about to happen again, because we were in a great place in our marriage. We were going for this huge promotion. So I was like, okay, it's going to happen. So I remember I told him, like, we need to like pray, and we didn't know, like, we're going to probably be fighting this month or something crazy, because the enemy is going to be out to, you know, get us. And so my mind was kind of going there. And I remember, like, it was like 2 days later, all of my team came from Midland. We had a huge fun day. We did hair, makeup, photo shoot, dinner. We had such a great time. I felt so good in my spirit just being with them. And they were all ready to go for promoting that month. And then the next day, I had gotten out of the shower, and I saw a call from my brother, which he never calls me unless, like, he just hates talking on the phone. He doesn't have social media. So I saw my phone ringing and I had this gut weird feeling in my stomach when I answered it. And I remember answering it, and that's when I got the news about my dad, and he said, it's back. And I said, what do you mean it's back? And he goes, Dad's sick. He went to the emergency, and they ran tests on him, and it's back. But it's bad, Estee. Like, it's spread everywhere. And I was like, how could he just be cancer-free in January and it be spread everywhere? That doesn't make sense to me. He's like, it's a crazy cancer. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And I didn't have the words to say. I felt like this is a bad dream. Like, we just went through this and overcame it. Like, why would this be happening right now? You know? And all I could think is, I don't even know what I thought, but I know what I felt. I remember feeling so angry. Like, this anger inside of me that, like, you cannot even imagine, because I knew that it was the enemy out to destroy. And it wasn't that I was worried about, oh, he's going to ruin me going presidential. Like, obviously the timing of my dad's cancer, there's no good timing for that, right? But I just knew how the enemy worked. He knew that we had already prayed for our marriage and that we knew, like, we were ready for that. So he tried to figure out another way to attack. And that's just what he does, right? He tries to figure out any way to bring us down or destroy us when there's something great happening. And I remember that feeling of just like, no, it's not happening. He's taken way too much from us. He's taken way too much from me. I was like, I won't let it happen. Like, I was ready for war. Like, I was like, bring it on. Like, I'm ready. Like, this is not going to happen. Like, I'm going for this. And I remember talking to Cookie, and I was like crying, and I was like, he's not doing this. Like, I was so mad. And I got off the phone. Cookie was somewhere, and I had a worship time, and I just remember like crying out, but like in a rage, but not upset at God. I was ready to fight, and I was ready for battle because I knew what I was up against, and I knew he wasn't going to win. And later that night, Sherry called me and was like, friend, I'm sorry. You know, we had a conversation. She's like, I don't want you to feel any pressure. Like, everybody would understand right now, like, what you're going through, like, to try to go for a promotion, like, you know. And I said, no, I'm doing this. I'm going presidential. I'm not letting my team down, but most of all, I'm not letting the enemy win. That is my number one. He is not going to win this battle. He has won too much. He has taken too much from me. And he is not going to steal this victory. This is my victory. This is my family's victory. And I'm doing this for my dad because he would be proud to know that I've worked so hard for this, you know? And this is what he's taught me. And so I went into that month just on fire, ready to go. For those of you that don't know, but what fasting is, I fasted things that I knew just needed to be fasted for the month because I needed my spirit to be ready. You know, Cookie was on board with me. We were both just ready to do it. And I stayed just in worship and prayer. I had to go out to be with my family. The last week of promotions, I was there in California with my family and my sick dad. And I literally had charts spread across an air mattress in my sister's room. And I had tears in my eyes and worship music on with my headphones, and I was just going for it. And I said, I was talking with my team. I was hopping on power hours with them and Zooms. It was also distracting for me to have something else. I wasn't focused on my dad the whole time. And I just went for it. But that victory to me, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not going to say I wasn't that excited that I went presidential. I was just excited that the enemy didn't win. I was excited that he was defeated and that we were victorious and that God gets all the glory for it in the end, that he did it, you know, that he did this because I could not have done this on my own. My team was rallying behind me. They were going for promotions. They were running power hours. They were stepping up. I had Ruby stepping up, posting, you know, posts for the day. I mean, they were all like, we're doing this, Estee. Like, they were all like coming in like, God like orchestrated all of that for that moment. He knew what he had prepared it all for me. He prepared it because that's who he is. He's so faithful. And he wants us to have our victory. And he wants us to get it. And I seen it happen once with our marriage because we won. We won. We worked our marriage through. We stayed together. We've come through in this business, and it has not been easy. This business has not been easy by any means. It has not been handed to me. It has not been anything. I've worked really hard for this. But by all means, I give all the glory to God. And I will share one thing about my husband that was the best thing that morning. The morning I went presidential, we opened up my laptop because I stayed up to like 3 that morning, I think, getting everything in order. I opened the laptop up. I think I didn't wake up till like 10. I was so exhausted. I woke up, I looked at my laptop and it was presidential, and I was like, oh, we did it. Like, thank you, Jesus. Like, we did it. But he had like left and he wasn't there, and he came home and he came in to give me a hug and we cried together. And he said, he called the kids in, and he had went to the store to get this. Some of you would think this is really weird and crazy, but I don't. He went to the store to get crackers and grape juice so that we could give an offering, so that we can it was just do a communion for God, because we didn't want to take any glory for ourselves. Like, this was God's victory. And when he did that, that meant so much, because anybody that heard his story in the beginning, he's come such a long way spiritually. He drank, he did all the things, like our marriage was in crumbles. So God didn't only just bring this business to glory, but he brought our marriage and our family for something better. And for us to be able to sit there as a family and do communion and totally just give all the honor to God, that made everything for me. This business, it made everything to me that moment.
Man, that's unbelievable. I mean, goodness, like, I'm keeping it together. I'm good. I'm a big boy. I know there's tons of people losing it right now, and there's really not a whole lot more to say. I mean, you can do it if you set your mind to it. If you realize that your biggest battle, as big as the battle is, oh man, the victory is so sweet, and understanding that you're not alone. It's not just you. And so proud of you, Estee. And Cook, I'm gonna let you close, man. I just want you, because I mean, I'm fortunate. You're my best friend. We get to talk about life day in and day out, so I'm spoiled. But you challenge me. But there's people on this Zoom. They just heard Estee's story. They're probably crying right now. But even then, they're saying, that's great for Estee. That's great for Cookie. It can't happen for me. What would you tell them? And then I'll let you guys go, because I mean, this has just been so powerful. But I want them to hear it from a voice that maybe isn't as familiar.
Yeah. I can tell you this, that life's hard. You know, today, me and Estee fought. Promotion month, we fought. And the devil's here to take your victory, y'all. And, you know, you got to stand on the word. And I will tell you this, this is more than a business. This is more than health and wealth. This is family. John and Sherry, you know, y'all are family to us. We got some awesome team members that we wouldn't be here without family and a team, you know, just huge team members, you know, that I can honestly say this is why we're here, you know. But you have got to understand that it takes hard work, it takes dedication. And with that being said, this is a team effort. And when I say it's a team, is God places people in your life for a reason. Places people underneath you, places people above you. And those relationships are crucial. And you got to understand that this business is that. This business is family. This business is relational. And if you can really latch onto that, you know, it's a team effort. And we wouldn't be here without you, John and Sherry. We got some Billy and Edgar. I mean, we got Lizzie. We got these huge all-stars on our team they didn't show up at our front door, y'all. We had to ask them, you know. We had to work hard for this, you know. But God, you know, it brings this scripture that's really been in my heart. And I'll share it with you is don't be weary in doing good, because in due time you'll reap your harvest. Plant the seeds. Plant it in your family, plant it in your team, plant it in your business, and don't get weary, because it's hard. You know, trial and tribulations come. Unfortunately, they do. But keep pressing on. Latch on to your team members. Love your team members. Pour into them. And this is real. This is a tangible business. And if me and Estee can do it, you know, we've been through battles the last couple of years. You know, if you could see our spiritual bodies, we're all cut up, we're all bruised, we're banged up, even from today, even from last month. You know, my father-in-law's battle with cancer. we got armor on. We're fighting for, that right now. We're fighting for the next promotion. We're fighting for Lizzie to go double diamond. We're fighting for those team members to go diamond, to hit ruby, to hit their first time, thing. So what you got to understand is this is a team effort. And if you can latch on and be relational, and really let God grow you, and just keep planting those seeds, keep growing, it's definitely doable, and it's something that's tangible that it'll change your life. It'll change your life in ways that, you'll never understand until you're there, So.
And I said this on probably every Zoom that I ever have done, but one of my all-time favorite scriptures that I know has just gotten me through like a lot of the battles I've gone through is, and I have it on my mirror, and Cookie knows every house we've moved into and everything it's up on my mirror is, and I used to write it on Post-its on my cabinets, is no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And that's just one of my favorite scriptures because it's just so powerful, because there will be weapons against you. There will be attacks on your business and the people on your team and on your marriage and on everything that the enemy can try to destroy. It will happen. And so you have to stand firm in that, and you have to speak it out, and you have to just declare it, and you have to just say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I know I've said it a billion times, probably even the last couple of months in my prayer and everything, but it has literally have given me a different power, to be able to fight against that, and just to be able to stand firm and know that I won't be defeated, to stand in firm believing for my dad's healing, and just to know, like, no matter what comes my way, like, you've got this. The Lord's got it.
Man, so awesome. I love you guys. I'm so proud of you. Can't wait to see you go ambassador. I heard we have a little Louis shopping to do. So excited to do that with you, Estee. Or should I say Cookie, if you want a nice little bag. But no, hey, we love you guys. So powerful. And yes, the replay will be up. It'll probably be tomorrow. So just let me sleep, and then we will get it up first thing tomorrow, and you can share it with your teams. It'll be up on Diamond Empire. But guys, we have 14 days that can change your team, 14 days that can change your business. Me and Sherry, we just made a decision last night. It's you know what? We had a lot of life these last 2 weeks with the kids and with sickness and all this other stuff. And it was you know what? We need to sign some customers. You know what? We've signed 3 tonight. We just said, you know what? We're going to get back to work. We're going to get focused. We're going to pause a little bit and get right back into it. And so that's all it takes, is flipping a switch and saying, I'm not going to wait till the 28th, the 29th, or the 30th. I'm going to start on the 16th before I go to bed. I'm not going to go to bed before I message 5 people, before I ask 5 people. Tomorrow you wake up. And what we're finding out, team, is that when people come to us for health solutions, if you offer more than one product, they'll take more than one product. But a lot of us, it's amazing. We're 5 years in, and we're just figuring out, offer 2 or 3 products and let them say no. And I'm telling you, we got 350 something BV orders by just giving them what we think would be best for them. And so, just go, make it happen. We're cheering all of you on to Diamond, to double, to triple, to presidential. I said multiple ambassadors in 2019, and so it's going to happen. And I just love that I was right about 6 months ago. I told you guys, and it's happening. But let's not miss the boat. It's rare. Let's run. Let's do it. Cookie, Estee, thank you so much. I love you guys.
Love you, Sherry.
Love you guys. Y'all are amazing. Diamond Empire. I'm ready to see it. Let's see another just blowout of promotions. Remember, we have our retreat going, triples and above, get an automatic invite. Is it doubles and above, get to come the day of. And then if you complete your steps to success, put those in the comments. We're going to be drawing some names to come and spend the day with us. And so we're really excited to do that. Bless you guys and have a lot of fun. So we love you. Have an awesome night. And let's finish this month strong. Y'all have a good night.
Love y'all. Night, team.